Good afternoon, people. Derek from the Rangers Review here. How are we all doing on this fine Wednesday, the 11th of September? We near the end of the international break. In fact, many of the Rangers players who were away representing their countries are jetting back to Glasgow. Of course, the big countdown now on until Sunday when Rangers head to Tannadice for the early kickoff against Dundee United. But just how did the Rangers first teamers get on their international travels? Well, we'll kick off with the two Scotland lads, John Souttar and Connor Barron. They were away with Steve Clarke's squad for the Nations League matches against Poland and Portugal, and neither managed to get off the bench in both of those matches. Steve Clarke preferring a back line of Grant Hanley and Scott McKenna at the heart of his defence. Barron called up after a number of withdrawals to the squads after impressing not only for Rangers, but he has done well under Scott Gemmell for the under-21 side, but he never managed to get on in any of the games. Elsewhere, Ross McCausland did see game time with Northern Ireland. He earned his first appearance of the two at Windsor Park. He came off the bench in the closing stages of the win over Luxembourg last week. He almost marked it with a goal. He was denied twice in stoppage time. He was named on the bench again on Sunday for Northern Ireland's trip to Bulgaria. They slipped to a 1-0 defeat in Group 3 of their Nations League. He got the final 7 minutes in Plovdiv, and he was speaking afterwards, Ross McCausland. He says, "We're disappointed coming off the back of a strong performance against Luxembourg. We are disappointed not to at least get a point with the openings we had to equalise in the game. Overall, we are a bit frustrated. After the first 23-24 minutes, we started to come into the game. I think all the boys could agree up to then it was a poor performance, giving the ball away too easily, and we didn't have many chances. Overall, it wasn't good enough in the first 20 to 25 minutes because he overpowered us a little bit, but then we came back into it." Elsewhere, Václav Cerny starred for the Czech Republic. He's did well. He set up a goal for them in their match on Tuesday evening against Ukraine. He started over on the right-hand side, and the Czechs won by 3-2 in that game. Prior to that, he was he was on the bench for their Nations League match against Georgia, and a surprising defeat there. The Czechs were on the end of a heavy 4-1 loss. I never got on in that game, but certainly did his chances of starting in the next match for the Czech Republic no harm at all with that assist in the game against Ukraine. Let's hope he can set up 1 or 2 goals on Sunday when he returns in the blue of Rangers. Now, all eyes, I think many eyes were on Nadim Bajrami of Albania, the deadline day signing for Sassuolo. He featured and started in both of Albania's games in their Nations League matches. Under boss Silvino, the former Arsenal left back. He started on the left to begin with in the match against Ukraine. They won by 2-1 in Prague, and Silvino was waxing lyrical about his performance afterwards. He says, "I thought the performance from Nadim Bajrami against Ukraine was outstanding. He is clearly a big talent. We were very satisfied with Bajrami's performance. He could play in many roles for us. I've noticed that his all-round game has improved. He can do a lot with the ball. He helped us to produce a really excellent result against a huge nation like Ukraine. We continue to improve, and I think that was one of our best results in recent years." So he was back in action again last night in Tirana in Georgia. He started in the number 10 role as opposed to the left wing, and unfortunately for Bajrami and Albania, they fell to a 1-0 defeat to Georgia. That goal coming 20 minutes from time. But certainly, I think we're all looking forward to seeing Nadim Bajrami in a Rangers jersey. I'd imagine likelihood is he'll start on Sunday. I very much like to think that he will start for Rangers. Yanis Hadji was in action for Romania, and I spoke yesterday in the bulletin about his comments after their Nations League match. He took on Kosovo and Lithuania. He was just given 7 minutes in the 3-0 win over Kosovo last week. And in the second match against Lithuania, replaced Dennis Mann for the final 20 minutes. He won a late penalty with a drive into the area from the right channel. And Razvan Marin scored from the spot to put the seal on a 3-1 victory in Bucharest. So he is returning to Rangers. And he continues to be frozen out. He said he's looking to fight for his place and fight for the coach and for the team. So, who knows what is going to materialise with Hagi and Rangers over the next days, weeks, and months. And the final player that was away on international duty from the first team was Mohamed Diamande. Of course, he chose Ivory Coast to represent. Both Ivory Coast and Ghana were keen on Mohamed Diamande playing for them. He chose Ivory Coast and he was named on the bench in their African Cup of Nations qualifier with Zambia on Friday. He didn't come off the bench, but he did come off the bench in the match against Chad when Tuesday night, last night, when he came on for the final 15 minutes of his team's 2-0 win. So he also heading back to Ibrox without any issues. You always worry, of course, when the Rangers players go away and represent their countries that they may come back with a little knock or two. But touch wood, that is not the case. We'll get an update from the manager on Friday, of course, when we hear from him ahead of that match on Sunday against Dundee United. But that is an international roundup of all the Rangers players away representing their respective countries. Remember, if you want to keep up to date with all the latest goings on at Ibrox, be sure to subscribe to the Rangers Review website and also to the YouTube channel as well. Bye for now.